First Love by John Clare. I ne'er was struck before that hour with a love so sudden and so sweet. Her face had bloomed like a sweet flower and stole my heart away complete. My face turned pale as deadly pale, my legs refused to walk away. And when she looked, what could I ail? My life and all seemed turned to clay. And then my blood rushed to my face and took my sight away. The trees and bushes round the place seemed midnight at noonday. I could not see a single thing, words from my heart did start. They spoke as chords do from the string, and blood burnt round my heart. Are flowers the winter's choice? Is love's bed always snow? She seemed to hear my silent voice, and love's appeal to know. I never saw so sweet a face as that I stood before. My heart has left its dwelling place, and can return no more. So this poem is a lyric. It's written in iambic tetrameter, and it's about John Clare's first love. One thing to check out is the information box up here, about information about John Clare and his background, and some little exercises. So this poem is shorter than most of the other ones, so I'm just going to go through it basically line by line. So, I never was struck before that hour with love so sudden and so sweet. So he begins the poem right out saying that he's never been in love before. The word struck and sudden suggests it just came out of nowhere. It's a very violent love. Her face had bloomed like a sweet flower and stole my heart away complete. So he's comparing this woman's face to a sweet flower. It's a very beautiful little, it's a very natural beauty. And stole my heart away complete, that's obvious. She just took him by surprise and has taken his heart. My face turned pale as deadly pale. Now you'd think that's sort of a negative thing to say, deadly pale, and it sort of suggests like he's dead, but I would say no. I would argue that it sort of suggests that all of the blood from his face has gone into his heart, and that he's just standing there looking like a crazy person just staring at this sweet flower of his. My legs refused to walk away. Again, this reinforces the idea that he's just been he's stopped in his tracks as he saw this person. And when she looked, what could ail? The word ail here, I'm guessing, is used sort of, what could he do? How could he react? What was he meant to do? And this word ail is also used in the poem La Belle Dame sans Merci, which is the last poem of the pre-1940 poetry, just for your information. My life and all seemed turned to clay. So this again suggests a grave, but again I would argue that it's more about how it suggested that God made us out of clay. And because of the time period of John Clare, religion was very prominent, so it seems very likely. And it indicates to me, my interpretation is that this love, this first love, has sort of taken him back to his primitive instinct, his primitive feelings, this sort of categories of love and hate and that sort of thing. So my life will all seem turned to clay. I would say that he's just lost all meaning except love. On to the second stanza. And then my blood rushed to my face and took my sight away. This is just a fancy way of saying he's blinded by love. The trees and bushes round the place seemed midnight at noonday. Noonday. So this reference to midnight at noonday is kind of confusing, but I would say that it's sort of suggesting that nothing else matters. His whole world is sort of turned upside down. He doesn't even know what time it is. All he's focusing on is this person. I could not see a single thing, words from my heart did start. They spoke as chords do from the string, and blood burnt round my heart. I could not see a single thing is again reinforcing the idea that love is all he's saying. The next bit suggests that his heart has begun to sing. It's so overjoyed and so full of love that his heart has actually begun to sing. It sort of becomes an instrument as well. It says, they spoke as chords do from the string. In the heart, we do have these sort of string-like features, although I don't think he's referencing the physical nature of the heart, but rather just that it's sort of become this lyre. Now the last line of the second stanza, blood burnt round my heart, that is again going back to the sudden and struck lexis of violent words. The word B sounds are plosive, and it suggests pain, and it suggests that this love is really hurting it. And I would say that maybe he just can't get to her. And this is also backed up by the next stanza, which begins with, "Are flowers the winter's choice? Is love's bed always snow?" So he's sort of, I'll explain those two questions, but he's sort of just asking why he can't have her, how can he have her? So that is why this love is so painful, because either she doesn't love him, or they just can't be together. So, are flowers the winter's choice? Now, this is sort of a paradox, because flowers don't grow in winter. I mean, you have those evergreen trees and whatnot, but flowers don't. So there's two ways you could interpret this. The flowers could go back to the idea in the first stanza that he said that her face is like a sweet flower. So it could suggest that, can she be his? Are flowers the winter's choice? Can she be with him? My interpretation, however, is I would say more logical, albeit a bit wacky. So, I would say that "Are flowers the winter's choice" suggests that he is the flowers and she is winter, and he's asking, can she pick him? This is also reinforced with the second question, is love's bed always snow? This idea of snow is sort of cold and I mean wintry, obviously. And so, can love thrive in winter? But my interpretation can be challenged, and please challenge it in the comments, because I'd like to know what other people say and think of this. So those two questions suggest a bit of hope. He's asking these questions, he's asking, can they ever be together? Sort of this desperate clinging to the hopefulness that maybe they can. This hopefulness is reinforced with the next line, "She seemed to hear my silent voice and love's appeal to know." Now this is sort of ambiguous, and again it sort of doesn't work, because if his voice is silent, then how is she meant to hear him? But I would say that either she rejected him, so that's why his voice is silent, because she's silenced him, or I would think that maybe, you know the feeling when you sort of, your mind is working through things and you're saying things in your head, and you sort of topic shift when you're talking to someone and they don't know how you got there, but your mind worked through all the process. So I think maybe this is sort of that he's been telling her love's appeal, as it says. He's been telling her that he loves her, but maybe he hasn't actually had the guts to say it in voice. He's just been saying it in his head. So he thinks that she's heard him, but physically she hasn't. "I never saw so sweet a face as that I stood before." That again repeats the word sweet as in sweet flower from the first stanza, and just repeating the fact that he's so in awe of this woman. "My heart has left its dwelling place and can return no more." He's saying that things will never be the same. It is again a bit violent, as we can assume that they're not going to get together, and it's not possible that she just doesn't love him. So this idea that his heart has left its dwelling place sort of personifies the heart as sort of just packing up and leaving. And it can also suggest that she has taken his heart away. So that was First Love by John Clare. If you have any questions, comments, anything, just go right ahead and write them. And good luck!